last night, first coat of paint on the stun gun, and it worked pretty good. I really like the color. I think is really great. It's pretty close to what we saw. However, there were still a couple of little spots that were highlighted as a result of that work that just needed a little bit of additional fill. So I've done that. Okay, so finished off the filling and sanding. I believe this time we should be good to go. So I'm going to put down another coat. The one thing I should note, if you ended up having to use this, I found, and it could just be my bottle is really old or something, or I don't know. But anyway, it's extremely thick. And you can see it's just the way it is in there, even like it's not like, and I shook it forever, but it's really, really thick. So anyway, for me, I know it says you can spray from the bottle, and often mission models you can, but I did have to thin it down almost, maybe not quite 1-to-1, but put in a good amount of thinner there, and just got that mix. Just as a side note, I don't know if that's common for everybody, but certainly was for me. After really carefully reviewing of the all the pictures that I can on that season 1 and on the sort of more hero model-y version of that. There's a lot of versions, obviously, and a lot of, there's a lot of variability on these things, but it seems that in a lot of them, certainly the ones I'm kind of been looking at, that the nozzles, the emitter kind of front nozzle pieces are actually not that terribly shiny. They're not, this is a little bit too much of that sort of aluminum, shiny aluminum look. They really just aren't. In pretty much every picture, they are kind of a more steely look. They're just not, they look more like just unpolished steel, actually. And so to kind of more emulate that, I am actually going to put a little bit of steel down here, just a misting of steel. Obviously I've taped off the tops because I've got my coloring down there and I don't want to lose that. So I'm just going to kind of just mist around on them a little bit and darken it up a bit. And then on these guys, the knobs as well, it turns out they're a little darker as well than the steel. They're clearly darker than like the other parts, like the trigger part for the steel stun slider for either year. They all look just a little bit darker. They're like a dark aluminum, and so that's I do have some dark aluminum that instead of this sort of lighter or regular aluminum, I have a light aluminum as well, but this particular one is just a little bit darker, and so I think I'm just going to put that on the edges of this. I still have my sticker, my sort of mask on the middle here, which is black actually, which some of them certainly do look quite black. Some it's a little less actually, but I'm going to stick with the black in there and just apply the dark aluminum in here on the edges of those. So just got this stuff out of the paint booth. I just shot it to kind of show you how it turned out here. So you can see this is the steel color that I laid down there, and so it's just as you can see, it is a fairly kind of darker looking, and I think it's a lot more accurate. I'm looking right at a couple of the pictures, and that's the right idea. It's I think just a better match if you remember what the sort of the aluminum looked like. It's just a more just darker and more steel-like look, which is great. So really we're happy with that. And so that was using that's using, which one did I use for that? It's using this guy, the steel. Then as you recall, on these buttons, they've also been done. And you can see again, comparing the colors, it's definitely darker. These were done with, no, not that one, with this one, dark aluminum. So, so very similar to the one that I have here, but just a shade darker. And you can see that. So, next day, the stun gun is out of the paint booth. As you can see, I put down a couple of nice coats And really, really happy. This is the RAF mission models high speed silver, and I'm really liking it. It came out looking really, I think, exactly sort of what I was looking for. They're really a really close color. It's a very white, silvery color that I think kind of looking at the reference turned out great. I'm really happy with this area in here. If you remember, I'd actually done a first 2 coats and found a few little flaws, especially back in this area. So I did used a bit more putty and a bit more sanding work, and same with along in here. I'd had a bit of a seam still showing, and now that's completely gone. So we have a really nice smooth coat pretty much everywhere. I'm really thrilled with it, and I think that turned out great. So I think we're ready to start looking at adding some of the other pieces in here. Let's try it again here, putting it this way and seeing if we can make it work here. Not sure. It's worth a try though. Let's see what we get. Okay, so we want here. Back into place there again. There we go. Now we're getting all 4. And then if it's up here, now it's just the one. So that's working perfect. So I need to do something here to make that not be rubbing against the bottom. So I'm going to have to put more work in here. I think what I'm going to do is actually grind down that magnet. So I need that size of magnet, but I just need it to be, I need to take off like a 1/16. So what I'm going to do is just grind off and make a sort of a flat edge there, just enough so that will not, so it's just going to, it won't rub against here. Because remember, decals go in here, and so if it's rubbing, it's just going to like scrape the decals off. Even if I want to put a bit of clear coat and just, anyway, long story short, I need the magnets to be positioned this way, but I need them to be not sticking up quite as tall. Just using my trusty aluminum oxide knocks the metal down pretty nicely. That sure looks like it's going to be good enough. Let's have a check here. Just down here like that. That's what I'm thinking is, yeah, if I put it in like that, it should still be flat enough. Yep. It's not touching there at all, so that's what we want, all right? So let's just see how this looks here. When we get this hooked up here, get this in place. So now it should be, yeah, it's very free moving. Let's just make sure we still have enough magnetic force here to, yeah, still manages to enable our lights. So this is perfect. And now there's no, in fact, it's extremely loose there now. If anything, that's going to be something we're going to have to address, is just the looseness. But that's a small problem compared to just all of the other things that we to have that working so reliably is just great. So I'm really happy. So that's that piece. Another piece is, is the little nozzles here. That's kind of the next, or a piece of what we can do now. Let's see what that's going to look like on here. It is going to be, I'll be kind of gluing this into place. What I should do right away, I can tell I should also do some sanding on that, because I don't want to. This has lots of gloss, but I don't want to like unnecessarily scrape that up. So yeah, I'll do some sanding around that edge. It doesn't need to be quite so sticky. Okay, so lots of sanding to do around edge. I can't try taking this off, and I just want to see what that's going to look like with the black handle in place here. Just take that all off here. What I'm going to do is just take a little bit more off of that. There, that's perfect. Oh, it looks so good. I really, really love that. It's giving us our nice kind of black middle with this sort of darker shade. So let's just put one of those on and just see what that looks like here. Yeah, really, really like that. See the different kind of darker shade. Again, pretty accurate. That's just what it looked like. So pretty big success, I'd say there. There we go. Those worked great. That. Nice. Well, sorry, I'm really zoomed up there. Sorry about that. Yeah, that I think just looks really accurate, and really big fan of how that turned out, and that was really worth it to kind of customize those and get them the right kind of just a little different looking color. All these pieces have kind of come together really nicely, and I think we're really, really close. Once I file out these edges a little bit, let me just grab actually a file for that. I'm going to actually use this one. Just don't really need all that in there anymore. Nice. Let's just test that again here. Yeah. Looking awesome. It's really great. Yeah, that's fantastic. Just trying the nozzle here again. I'm just taking off just a little bit of the paint at the base of the nozzle, just to help get it started, and also so that there's not paint kind of riding up at all as it's kind of going in and being put into position. So that's will hopefully help with that. Just, doing a little bit more work on the stun gun, really adding in the emitter nozzles here, and so I've finished the red one and the yellow one. I'm really happy with how those have kind of turned out, and just going to work now on the next one down, which I believe is green. So what I've been doing on these is just actually cutting off just a little bit. I don't want to go too deep, but just the kind of the bottom part of the paint, and just makes it a little simpler sliding it in if you just take off just the last little bottom part. The thing that I've been doing is just kind of taking my exact one, just taking off a layer of essentially a layer of the paint, and just kind of smoothing it a little bit. In some cases there was just a little bit of unevenness, especially between the two. Of course, there were two halves here, and so sometimes they just didn't quite come across perfectly smooth, and so just doing that. So quick update on the stun gun. As you can see, I ended up actually doing a little bit more work even after it had all been ready and I already had my nozzles all installed. I realized that I still wasn't 100% happy. There was the teensiest little bit of seam that you could see, and I just really wanted to just correct that or try a little bit more. So I've been working, taped it all off very carefully, those nozzles, because they're in there so tight. I don't want to try retaking them out. So it just spent a night taping those all off and taping this part off. This part's nice because I can just put the little cover back over there. I don't have to have the other trigger in. That's kind of handy. And then just kind of taping off. Not that this matters that much. If even paint did get in here, wouldn't really matter. But anyway, just kind of taping that off a little bit. And then getting it ready. And then I also did just correct. There actually had been a little spot underneath here that wasn't quite sanded properly underneath, so now it is. I have that nice and smoothed out there too. So I took that opportunity since I was kind of reworking this back edge as well, just the slightest bit of seam there. So now I've got, I think that done. I should eliminate that there now. So yeah, it's ready here. I'm probably gonna run that, I think, into the paint booth here tonight and just see. Not the end of the world if it turns out I didn't quite get something right. It's not like I have some deadline to get this done or something. We'll just, we'll just add a little bit more and keep working on it. Pretty good amount of time there. We'll just see here when it starts to think about it might want it to be moving. And we'll just kind of bring that down here. Still just a little high. You know what I'm going to do? Let's add a little bit of water in here. If you use just microset, it's actually kind of makes it harder to move, whereas the water will make sure that it can kind of slide down there just a little bit more. There we go. Let me just actually wipe a little bit of that off. Yeah, so just to let that dry a little bit. It's not set at all. It's been kind of just sitting there, but I just wanted to have a look at what that's going to look like once we get it back. Yeah, so you can see that looks pretty accurate. Next day here after the retouch up, yeah, it looks just great. Kind of got rid of all the little, it's kind of like really smooth and no more seams left anywhere there. And the front is excellent. Just what I wanted. Nice and no imperfections there at all. So, and just the look and the way that it came out. I've got the reference photo, one of the reference photos that I've kind of been really looking at a lot. Right in front of me, and it's just such a good match. That color, we got lucky there. Really captured and even just almost the texture, the way that it is, sort of the grain size and so forth is a really good match. So, all right, let's take this guy off too while we're at it here. One thing that I also added, I don't know that I mentioned it yet, is that I added another little switch in here. Right here, you can see that it's just all I did was I tapped in to the lines essentially before it goes to the switch. So really, this is all about just as I'm getting closer to wanting to take some pictures here. I want to be able to have the trigger being pressed, but I don't want my finger in the pictures. So this is just a little way to essentially bypass. As you can see, I can just turn it on, and then that way it's I don't have to be pressing. It just bypasses the it's another version of the switch. So I just added another one. I'll show you the circuit. And so I just added, just tapped in front of the trigger, and so that we just have the ability now, instead of it only being able to energize by clicking the trigger, we can now energize by just closing this switch, as you can see, and so that just lets me do it without needing to press the button. So yeah, really simple a modification to the circuit for just a convenience of the occasional time when you might want that to just be turned on. Yeah, so anyway, let's turn that off for now. And it just kind of tucks in. That's the other nice part about this, the way we ended up here. There's like a lot of room in here, so it kind of was very conducive to being able to do some additional work there, which is nice. Okay, so I'm going to just reaching that stage here where I want to try putting on a couple of the vinyl pieces. Remember, I've got a vinyl set that I've at first I did not think I'd be using very much, but as it turns out, if you've watched the comm lock, or if that's depending on the order and what I include in the video, anyway, I ended up using them on the comm lock, and they just look so great that I want to try them on here as well. What's really nice about them, I did apply a couple of coats of some dull coat on here. You can see how glossy this black vinyls were. Here's where I had the little clamp on there, and so you can see it nicely dulled them up, and that made a really big difference on the comm lock. These little pieces just are like perfect. They just look exactly like what we wanted, and exactly like they look on those models. And so I want to try the same thing on these little black pieces that go into onto the gun here. Following the angle of this one is really the key angle that it follows. So in the middle of that, following this, so it should be exactly in line. My thing is, I think that's a little too far, not far enough, because it shouldn't come quite that high. There we go. Yep. There. That's what we want, just like that. And that looks great. So again, just so nice looking. It's exactly the right sort of look to that. So I'm really, really happy with that, and definitely going to go with it. And then on this little piece down here, it kind of comes in like that. So it's the middle, kind of the middle of both of these buttons in a way. So this one, middle here, but flat along the bottom. So kind of like, yeah, and it comes pretty up snug here. And I'm just looking, let me just make sure. I can't see it very good on that one, so I'm just going to pull up a better. Here we go. Yeah, it comes up pretty close, so it's like right like here in the middle, and then it's at that height. Oops. Yeah, like that. And then, yeah, this kind of comes up in kind of the middle of those buttons like that. Look at that. That's just really awesome. Just excellent. It's a little bit loose still, so to remedy that, I'm just going to be adding on the underside just a little drop on each side, very thin, a little bit of micro liquid tape on there, and so that stays on there, dries clear, and we'll just get the slightest little bit of kind of a resistance there, which will work perfectly. And so we'll do that as well. And then, of course, the big thing is I need to apply the last of the decals here. And that's on all of these buttons. And that's these guys. And so I, as you know, last night as well, I had these in the paint booth, and they all have now a nice a coating of my decal film on those, just to kind of mat them down a little bit and give them just a little bit more resilience there. So I'm just going to cut these particular decals really close. There is a little bit of carrier around them, but I actually want to get them as tight as I can, just so that there's no excess on there. So I'm going to just very carefully cut these out. Okay, just going to do a little bit of decal work here. Well, kind of the last little bit here. So I'm just going to start with the black ones. And as you might recall, I kind of cut each of them out very closely. And that was just so that it's just a little easier to work with them now that, because I have the sort of decal film on there. This just makes it a little easier. Okay, let's grab the first one here. And these should fit pretty much kind of right on these, as far as I know. Looks great. And just like on the comm lock, I'm likely to, the very end here, I'll probably just give a little bit of probably a little bit of dull coat over these decals, just to seal them a bit, so that we don't have any issues with them kind of wanting to peel up at all down the road here. That'll just give it a little bit. They'll just be just a little bit more secure. And those look really good. Let me just zoom in there. You can see they just, all of them are coming out really nice. Even the black ones, as they're drying, you can see that they're just fitting on perfectly, which we would hope. I mean, they're for these, and so, yeah, it's coming out very nice. I don't really have to do much in the way of, anything really. They're just kind of coming in there and drying just right. And I don't currently not seeing any kind of, no bubbles or silvering or anything like that. And I really love the level of sort of how we ended up using the decal film. I think really gave them a really nice look. We are going to just put a little light dusting of clear coat over these, but it is just a dusting I'm going to do just to seal them just ever so slightly. So I wouldn't want to rely on that as my dulling agent entirely. That's why I did, obviously want to get these dulled down before they went on, so they don't have that stress of needing to lay down a lot of dull coat to try to get it under control. So anyway, we'll just let these dry. I don't want to be flipping this, doing the other side while these are at all any risk of them shifting or coming off or me causing any damage. So I'm just going to let these sit, and I'll keep an eye on them a little further as they're finalizing here. But at this point, really very happy with how they're all sitting, and they look all nice and level, and so I shouldn't have to do very much here. That one was that was the only little bit that I've seen there. It's just lovely. Oh, what a nice! This is just so nice. All these models, both the comm lock and the stun gun, are just beyond awesome. It's a little bit of a lifelong dream come true here, just having these and being able to see them, and they look so real. That's the sort of summary of the stun gun. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you kind of like the end product. Even sort of brings back hopefully some good memories for you as well. And if you do enjoy it, if you could just give it a thumbs up down below, that means a lot. And even leave a comment. I'd just love to see them and respond to them, and try to respond to all comments where I can. And then and if you like the content in general, absolutely consider subscribing. That's the best way to make sure you find out when I release something new, and also hit that little bell up top to get notified when I do. And I also want to just thank the people who've already subscribed to my channel. My 1-year anniversary here, and we just got over 250, and so it's just kind of fun to know that people are enjoying the content and care enough about it to actually want to find out when I'm releasing new stuff. So thanks very much for that, and for all the great comments that have already come in. I'm going to be doing lots of photos here tonight, this and the com lock, and hope you enjoy it. Thanks very much for watching, and I hope to see you again on the next one.